It was good.
Yeah, but like we never been there, so I find it laughable when we're all like, oh no, this would happen or this would happen. Like I that's just super weird to me. And then frankly, I would argue that also perspective has a lot to do with what you would think the apocalypse brings up or looks like or what it would feel like. Greg brought up a great point of segregation South during the Jim Crow times in the United States. I can tell you from personal experience, based off of my parents and my family's experience, when you had a mob of white people coming down the street with torches burning and they're looking to eradicate your existence, it felt like the apocalypse was at that moment. It felt like everyone was experiencing what you're experiencing because how could you not? This was madness. I would also argue if you're living in some part of Pompeii, 78 AD, you probably weren't sure what the apocalypse would look like or what you felt like it would be. But a year later, you found out, and it wouldn't be surprising that the people who were in the middle of that, the few who actually were able to escape to tell the actual story, although it's pretty clear most people died, pretty much everyone died. But it's pretty clear to think they probably thought the whole world was going through that. Why wouldn't you not? Why would you think for a second that was so localized that you would think, oh my God, this is just my area. It sucks to live in Pompeii. It's no, the whole world is going through that. And that's an understandable point of view. Also, we understand that human existence has been around for way longer than we think. So it's obvious that multiple times in human existence, we have come to an understanding that the world was ending, and we have to do our best to figure out a way to survive if we can, some of us, make it out of it. So I would argue that multiple times human existence has gone through that, and that multiple times we figure out some weird way to go. In some ways, it kind of goes back to weirdly enough the Matrix, but in a different perspective of what Agent Smith was saying. Humans are nothing more than a parasite. And the sad truth is, whether people want to break this down or understand this in a way that makes sense to them and feels better when they have their hopes or dreams and their loves and their emotions, is yeah, actually, when you break down the human body, we are a collection of trillions of parasites interacting symbiotically together to get the job done to basically what they're trying to do is exist and feed. I mean, that's basically the collection of what humans are in a lot of different ways. So when you think about it, we're just nothing more than a big walking parasite. So it's not hard to believe that any sort of thing that would happen, yeah, we probably would exist further on, some form, shape, or way. Probably some weird mutation, probably something different. I don't know. There's no way to figure out. I think it's interesting in the ways we have depicted it because there's always a sense of adventure to it. But we don't break down things that I get caught when I'm thinking watching these in the world things like, all right, first of all, where are we shitting? Like we're all acting like no one cares about that, but no, you need to figure out where are we shitting. And also, there's always these love fests that happen. And yeah, I would argue that after about a year or two of smelling everyone's shit, and I do mean everyone's shit, as well as everyone else's bodily odor that they let off, and just be able to cling to them, just marinate into them. Like we're talking, everyone's probably got dreads because no way in the world you're keeping that air clean and stringy, honey. Like you ain't getting the blowout, so best believe it's probably getting knotted up pretty funky. Like you ain't using chicken bone to fucking comb it out, and you ain't got some fucking natural way to blow it out either. It's getting fucking raw. Matter of fact, the sisters are probably gonna be like, "Yeah, this is cool with me because I'm just gonna go ahead and keep it like I wanted to anyway. I already figured out how to do it naturally, so fuck y'all." But anyway, I completely got off the point in the sense that it's gonna be nasty. So yeah, after a while, we'll probably get used to our smell, and while we're trying to survive and populate the world, so we're gonna have to deal with some each other funky shit. Like it's just we don't talk about that. We don't think about that. We're always like, oh no, it's gonna be beautiful. She's gonna be beautiful. And I'm gonna be handsome, and yeah, and like the whole like being built thing and what we eat. That's also part of perspective in a way that like, hey, I hate to admit it to all of the United States denizens, most of the world doesn't get to eat like us. Most of the world actually knows what the taste of rat is. So it's not hard to believe that there are human physiologies that have been able to figure out how to actually move into a healthy sort of existence, not utilizing the overabundance that the United States have gotten used to. In a lot of different ways, when we think about apocalypse, a lot of what we're thinking about is basically the end of what we're feeling comfortable with, what we're used to, what we expect. We want to keep whatever is familiar. We do not want to let go, even when we romanticize the end of everything. We romanticize the end of the world, but somehow we're able to have this part that still exists in our society. So I don't know. I find it always fascinating, and frankly, I also wouldn't be surprised since we don't know what really exists and we don't know what's really out there. And I'm not getting into like conspiracy. It's like, take your fucking vaccines, people. You eat a lot more shit that you don't know what you know is being put in your body than the vaccine. Believe me, if there's some shit that was gonna happen nefariously, you already fucking ate it, or you drank it, or you fucking let it go up your nose. Like, get away from this fucking thought that this is the one that's gonna get you. They already got you if that's the fucking plan. Get over your fucking self. But the point being is, I would argue in a lot of ways, it sort of proves in ways that, like, if it were to happen in a technological sense, it probably already happened multiple different times. Like, I've argued multiple times, Skynet, calling you out, same thing with Matrix. If the fucking machines actually really wanted to win and kill humans, they would have done it. They would have had the most fucking weird way if they actually wanted to do it. Like Matrix, come on, we all know humans aren't actually your best power source. No matter what they did, humans, to the goddamn sun, blocking out the sun, you're machines. You can figure out how to make a simulation to trap us in for hundreds of years, but you can't fucking figure out a power source. Are you fucking kidding me? We got a goddamn core that is about the goddamn same sort of strength as the fucking floating rock out there that we're getting life from. And you guys somehow will burrow in, let us have a rave down there, but you can't fucking figure out a power source? You're using us for fucking batteries? That is literally like trying to power a car with fucking double D's. What the fuck are you doing? And Skynet, I'm coming for you too. Because same thing, if you guys can figure out fucking time travel, you can't fucking figure out how to get along without us? Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, honestly, how do you get there? It's the same thing I have with alien invasion. I know I'm away from apocalypse, but apocalypse is kind of that way. Like, if we have intergalactic travelers who can somehow figure out how to come from cosmos away, but then can fucking get beat by a cold or a goddamn regular bullets or a good old American get how? Like, how the fuck did you get here intergalactically if that's how you got stopped? Like, you ain't causing our goddamn apocalypse. You're fucking So, like, same thing with Skynet. So I would argue in a lot of weird ways, it sort of proves that you can almost argue that time travel exists, because you can almost think that we probably figured out how to kill ourselves so many goddamn different ways. And someone had to just loop back to like right before the moment that we all ended it. And like, nope, stop. And then like, we keep going for like 4 months. And then like, we end it again. Someone has to come back and be like, nope, God damn it, stop doing that. Like, I would willing to bet that really existence is nothing short of goddamn Edge of Tomorrow. Like, humans are
Edge of Tomorrow.
And we're just trying to get to our ultimate self, but each time some benevolent existence, call it God, call it whatever, just keeps stepping back in a second right before we're about to fucking end it all again. And just like, God damn it, all right, stop, reset, and we do it, and like we just keep going. Like, we probably ended existence in an ultimate way, I don't know, millions of times, and somehow we just keep Edge of Tomorrow and back.
What I did love, I love you pointing out just how bad it's gonna fucking smell. I absolutely love that, because it takes it back to it does take it back to time travel, because of all the people who and also what you point about our fear of losing what's comfortable and what we want, and how we still romanticize it, because we do it in the future tense with the apocalypse, and we do it in the past tense with imagining, people who want to go back and I'd love to see what life was like in medieval times or in the old West, right?
Yeah.
Big quotes.
Cool. Read what it's like to live in Versailles. Just read that, and you'll get a good understanding of what I'm talking about.
My father always used to say, my father is my stepmother was French, so he spent a lot of time in France and loved the country, but I'd been to Versailles. He says, he said you have this palace, this amazing palace, there, and with people wiping their ass with the drapery in the corner, and he was being 100% literal. Like it's like they would just take a shit in the corner and then grab the drapes and wipe their ass with it. So humankind is funny like that. All I could think of too was the scene in Ocean's 13 with "You've gone nose deaf, sir. you can't smell yourself anymore, sir. It's time to leave the hotel." So that was that's now my new image of the apocalypse, right? Someone coming up to them, "You've gone nose deaf, sir." Yeah, but she's all I got. Of course I'm gonna hold on to her, right? I don't care. I want to have sex, god damn it, I'm still alive. So
that was because that kind of tying into what I was saying, because it was, I mean, when you think what it is, just again, like tying it, the apocalypse into the death of the individual, like you do have this picture, you hope, of what your death is going to be, but we don't know. You don't know, like again, like just laying in a hospital bed, forgotten everything that your reality. A friend of mine is going through it right now with her grandmother, and her grandmother was a world traveler. She's Italian, so she's first generation in the United States. So her grandmother first came to the US, and it just like wet her whistle for traveling, and to see the woman in that hospital bed and to see the pictures of her during her life, it's like the weight of that moment, you know what I mean? And that's exactly it, like even seeing our world, like how much imagination do you have to really envision the just cinder, the husk, like the waste that the world possibly could be, looking at how vibrant that it is now, like I think people are really, and this is an argument we can have later on, because I have it with people all the time. But Earth and life is a unique thing. Most of space is gas giants and rocks. Like for me to believe that life is not an exceptional event, we need to be able to find it on every other surface in space, but you don't, and so
very strong assumption.
Does that?
That's a very strong assumption.
It's actually just a natural fact. But my point is, like, even with her seeing, even through our paradigm, like we have a hard time letting go of it, because that is how we understand our reality. That is how we put all of what we know in perspective.
All right. I will lead us out. Well, I'll lead us out with one thought here, was that when the lockdowns came, just in our image and also being afraid of what we let go, I was alone in the studio at the gym that I work at, and I plugged in my phone, and I did play End of the World as We Know It by REM, and I was jump roping extra hard and smiling, because it just seemed fitting for, that was me making my post-apocalyptic moment. I made that shit happen, is how that
I am amazed how we started and ended with REM. I mean, honestly, I'm sure Michael Stipe would be like, good, well done.
Well, that's how
REM
was a great band.
Hey, they absolutely were.
I loved REM.
Yeah.
By the way, wasn't the legend of Shiny Happy People the legend, like no one in the band liked it?
Maybe not. And it had the members of the B-52 singing along with it, so it was everything, right? It was so yeah, I didn't even really think about that, the REM connection to the End of the World, but the obvious one, of course, being everybody, and that everybody and their brother is going Leonard Bernstein. That's all. Leonard Bernstein. That's it. That's all. That's all anybody. If you tell me all the lyrics, fuck you. I think you're full of shit. But all right, we've gone literally to the end of the world, and we do still feel fine. But you know, as we head on out into our weekend, Star Child, what words of wisdom have you got to lead us out?